Welcome back, Sports Card Culture Podcast number 35.
Who are we this week?
I like the Big Hurt, Frank Thomas, in honor of the White Sox being a potential, World Series favorite at this point. I'd say they're probably.
Yeah, Evan mentioned that before we started taping.
I'd say AL favorite. In the AL, they're a favorite. NL, I think the NL teams. I think
it seems like
the Giants and the Dodgers. You got a couple better teams.
I mean, when the Padres look like they're not going to make it,
no, they're out. They're officially out.
Yeah,
yep, they're out.
So when the Padres can't even get in, the World Series champion probably coming out of the National League. I've heard you got a bit of a bet.
Yeah, I have $250 prior to the season on the Dodgers to win. That'll pay $750. So
oh my,
3-1.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when you told me that. I was like, kind of a lot of money for a low multiplier, but you were looking at it as a safer bet.
Well, but 3-1 on a, I think, better. So 3-1 means they're saying that there's only a 33% chance it's happening. I thought it was like 50-50. Like I thought it was like a 50%.
With
that
before the playoffs
with that rotation. No, I did it prior to the season starting. The beginning of the baseball season.
It's even worse.
No, now it's now you wouldn't get even close to that. Now you'd be $250 to win $350.
That's amazing. I didn't
or $450
before the playoffs.
Yeah, you're not even going to get $200. No, because I mean, right now so much is solidified. Obviously,
but there's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's still 10 teams in the field.
But are there 10 teams that can beat the Dodgers? You know, there's really one or two only.
Well, the Rays I think can in the World Series. When you talked about the White Sox.
But I'll say this much: I was telling you this is if they get to the World Series, I'm guaranteed to make money because I'm going to hedge a little bit so that it's basically I win 100 or I win 400.
I would say not the Brewers, and I would say the Dodgers would beat the Giants. I think there's a couple teams, but
yeah, I mean, I'll see.
I think they should be 3-1, like 5-1.
Yeah.
All right, let's get right into our first topic.
It's been a few weeks, John. The NFL season has started since then, and there's a big topic.
There is a big topic. So it's early in the season.
Right.
Right? And things happen and people overreact.
100%.
A tad?
A lot, yes.
So I saw Jameis Winston throw for 5 touchdowns, and everybody said he's back. And he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And then week 2, he threw, 1 or 2 picks. Yeah, and it said, see, this is what we all thought.
This is who James Winston is.
Sunday, he threw a couple touchdowns, granted, for like 100 yards, threw a couple touchdowns, had a good game.
Average.
Yep.
Well, and
let's overreact about everything.
And let's think about this. Week 1, Rodgers gets beat at home by the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
Mahomes wins convincingly. They beat the Browns. I don't know. What was it? It was closer than it should have been. But then all of a sudden, the Chiefs lost week 1, and now they're 1-3.
Yeah,
and now they're sorry 1-2. They're last place in the division, and the top 2 teams are the team. One of them we're going to talk about. The Las Vegas Raiders are 3-0.
3-0,
and so are the Denver Broncos, led by Teddy Bridgewater. Who saw that? I mean, now they've beaten some awful teams. I don't think that's a surprise.
Bridgewater.
But they beat the Jets and Jacksonville.
Right.
It's not.
There's a meme where it has. Did you ever watch The Simpsons?
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
That meme where it says Bronco fan of 3-0 and it shows Homer Simpson perfectly physiqued. And then on the back, it's the episode where he's got clips holding all his fat back. And it's
all
his opponents are 0-9.
Yeah.
Now, granted, here's the thing. 3 of those 9 are because the Raiders beat them.
Right.
So it's not as bad as it looks. I mean,
right.
They all got 3 losses because the Raiders won. So a third of that, not a thing.
Yeah.
But the other 6 is, I suppose.
So if you were to tell me at the start of the season, week 3, the Raiders, the Broncos, the Panthers, the Rams, and the Cardinals would be the 5 only undefeated teams.
I would believe the Cardinals.
Possibly.
I would not believe the Panthers.
And let's be honest, the Cardinals were given a gift by the Vikings.
Oh,
the Vikings
absolutely.
Gave them a gift.
But no, I'm just talking before the season.
Yeah.
Before the season, I would have said,
the Cardinals.
Why not?
So of those 5 teams, the only 2 teams I thought in there that were for sure playoff teams were the Rams and Cardinals. Carolina, Denver, and Las Vegas.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, the Rams, I think everybody thought part of the year was a very strong NFC.
The thing about the Raiders, though, is those 2 rookies they drafted, rookie wideouts they drafted last year, are way more talented than people think.
For sure.
And that kind of goes into, the card podcast, not a sports podcast.
Yep.
Edwards and Ruggs.
Yes.
I mean,
Ryan
you
Edwards,
can get nice stuff of theirs for nothing.
Right.
Like, you can get an Edwards RP. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of off the top of my head. It might be completely wrong. And I suppose I could look it up. But you get, like, an Edwards RPA to 99 for $35 maybe, $50. So, like,
right.
I mean, that's that.
So the question is, obviously the NFL is a quarterback league. So is Vegas Dave's prediction and his position on Derek Carr finally coming?
All right, so let's do a little background. Vegas Dave is a gambler and a social media personality,
business entrepreneur.
Right.
Yep.
And one of the things he's famous for is buying the Mike Trout Superfractor for, do you remember, $300,000?
Yeah, right in
I think that sounds about right.
Yep.
Maybe
it was about a 10x multiplier.
4 years ago, maybe. And then everybody called him stupid and like $300,000 for a modern card. It's not even, it's not even the Holden Swagner. And then he sells it for 3 point.
Yeah, it was like 3.9.
3.9.
I think after buyers with premium and everything, it was right.
Now
real close to 4.
He also later on got into a battle with Gary Vee because he's like, the card market's gonna implode, and even the guy who bought my Mike Trout is a moron or whatever. He's a bit of a personality, right?
Yeah.
Well, one of the things he was pushing is Derek Carr.
He's been buying high-end Derek Carr.
And how long has he been buying them
since
for?
Like his second or third year.
Okay. And
17,
and you had mentioned before we taped, and we were like, okay, what are we going to talk about?
One of our friends sold him a card.
Yeah, what card was that?
It was a Derek Carr Contenders Cracked Ice Auto.
Do you know what that number to?
To 23.
To 20. Oh, yeah. All Cracked Ice to 23?
They have been generally.
Because I have one that's to 23, too, so I didn't know if that was...
Cracked Ice is 23. And I think it was... I think at the time it was like $5,000, which that was probably a peak when Derek almost won the MVP that year, and then he got hurt in the playoffs. And it's kind of been this weird thing of like... So think about this.
By the way, before the year, people are clowning on him for still taking this position of Derek Carr.
And think about this for a second. The two quarterbacks from the 2014 draft class, Teddy Bridgewater and Derek Carr, are both 3-0.
Oh,
we're talking
funny.
This is their 7th year?
Yeah.
We're talking 8th year. 14, 15, 16. This is their 8th year, and they're both having the best starts of a season for their career.
And
it's like
interestingly enough, the reason why for both of them is because they're injured.
Right.
Teddy almost lost his leg. I don't really know why Derek... Is it different stuff with Derek Carr or the same problem?
No, I mean, Derek's had a couple injuries, but he's also just... They've not had a great team around him, and now he's finally been with Gruden for a couple years, and now I feel like they're off... But it's funny because, like you said, Josh Jacobs has been out. He was out there last game. I mean, they don't have a bunch of big superstar position
They got
players.
that Miami running back.
Kenyon Drake.
Yeah.
But they got a really good defense. They're coached very well. John Gruden's a Super Bowl champ, and he's
back to Vegas Dave, though. Before the season started, I saw, I don't know what it was. It was, I don't know, one of the social media places. Somebody makes a post, and I'm reading the comment. The comments are better than the post, right?
Yeah.
It depends on what it is. And it's just, the position is, Vegas Dave has spent so much money on Derek Carr.
Yeah.
The only reason he was pumping Derek Carr was to get rid of these damn Derek Carrs.
Right.
And now, I sold a Derek Carr yesterday.
Yep.
It was just a Bowman Crown base.
Yep.
But is he a wizard?
Well, I'll say this much. Prior to the year, I sold a Derek Carr Topps Chrome PSA 10 for $35. I just looked them up. They're selling for $100 to about $150 right now.
Yeah.
130.
I thought that the Chrome base was like $7.
Yep.
Yeah.
So PSA 10s, though, they're up about 70%.
Well, yeah, I mean, because you could probably pick up a Derek Carr Topps Chrome base rookie at a card show for $1.
Yep.
For the last
couple
3
bucks.
years, maybe $2.
Yep. Couple
but there
dollars
are dealers who will be like, nope, I'm out, and they just blow them out. They're just like, whatever, this is the thing. And so there's a couple lessons here. One, Vegas Dave is a wizard and is magic.
Maybe.
And two, you can go to card shows and find those dealers who have given up on guys.
Yep.
And if you're still a believer, you can pick them up for nothing.
Well, you know who else has been really hot? I'm just going off the guys I've shipped the last 3 Mondays.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford is obviously very hot as well.
And I think we saw that.
We saw that coming, but I think it's been sad to see his whole prime. I mean, I'm not saying he's at the end of his prime now. Wasted in Detroit, right? Because now you're looking at him going, wow, this is what he looks like on a team with the defense.
He'd have 3 Super Bowls and Tom Brady would have 2 less. Or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it very, very well could. But it's one of those things where you go, wow, this guy was a first pick. He's been a really good talent, and now he's finally got a team.
No, it's funny. You could make the argument, and I just said that kind of off the top of my head, but you can make the argument that Detroit is the reason Tom Brady is the GOAT. If Stafford goes to a good team, wins a couple, maybe take 2 away, and then he's just like, it's an argument. It's not an argument right now. It's like he's GOAT. That's just what it is. He's the all sports GOAT. But he had 2 less Super Bowls. It's like,
no, I mean, but that you're assuming. See, Tom's won 7, but he's like played for 21 years. So it's like Stafford could have won a couple and
half his
which, by the way, I went to the card show this last weekend in Golden Valley, and I only bought Tom Brady rookies, and I bought like 9 of them. Nice. That's all I'm buying right now.
Like what brands? Like lower end?
I couldn't. I only found one Bowman, and it was in such bad condition that I actually passed on it. I literally didn't pass on another Brady rookie that was at or below comps.
Okay.
Most of them were 100 to 150, and it was mostly
a lot of like college jersey stuff.
It was mostly Skybox. Yep. Flair Tradition. It was the dual Flair Dominion with him and.
I can't remember.
It's just Giovanni Carmazzi. Played literally 0 snaps in the NFL. It's just hilarious.
Right.
Got a couple graded, a couple raw, and just tried to buy everyone I could.
Right.
Because I thought to myself, in 5 years, 10 years, 5 years, I would say, I think you'll be going around card shows here, and like there'll be like a couple for sale.
Well, understand here too is like in 8 years. He might be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
that implies.
I actually think they
should
should skip the 5-year wait for him. I think they should just put him in right away.
Dude, Carmichael would go nuts if they just said, he's just so good.
No, I think they should. I mean, I think that's one of those things where you just go, there's no reason.
So just to be clear, ain't happening. But I'd be very interested. I know that.
Because they've done that before. Didn't they do that in basketball? Did they do that for Jordan? Or
they did that. They didn't do it for Jordan. They did that for somebody, but it was like somebody died or somebody. It was some like
Kobe was actually scheduled.
No, right.
5 years.
I'm not talking about Kobe. Yep. It was.
But let's say
player who was something like some. Thurman Munson.
Thurman Munson, yes.
Thurman Munson, I think, or Clemente, one of those two.
Both those guys died in their career, so yeah, that would make sense. They both died while
I don't know for sure
active.
It was one of those two or anybody, but if it would have been Clemente or Munson, they just screw it, let him in.
Yeah, let him in.
So to answer the question,
yep,
is Vegas David Wizard or is it just like it's 3 weeks and stop buying into so much in 3 weeks? Or bye week.
I will say this much. I've been saying I think the Raiders are going to be a lot better. I think it's way too early to tell, but I will say this much. The same way the Las Vegas Golden Knights having their first year making the Stanley Cup was so good for them. Can you imagine what would happen in the card market if the Raiders won the Super Bowl?
The gamblers have a winner.
Like if they have a win, like they got a team, and now if they actually have success, there's so many people I feel like that would, like, Vegas is a unique city. It's so much different than like just a blue collar city where like cards are like
or even like even New York City where it's just a population play.
It's just a population play. Like, I mean, even you look at Chicago, it's different than Chicago, right? I mean, so like there'd be so much hype, I feel like, and excitement around him bringing
I also think
success.
Did he start buying before they went to Vegas?
Yeah, I think he bought him in anticipation of that. Just before they, like, right as they were.
So if that's the case, then one can make an argument that if you lived in Chicago in 1985 and you started collecting, and then you said, oh, I'm going to collect Michael Jordan. He's the greatest because you're a Bulls fan. It's not exactly an analysis. That's somebody. Let me give you an example.
Yep.
Somebody could love the Minnesota Twins.
Yep.
And then and I love the Minnesota Twins, and other people love the Minnesota Twins. And because they love the Minnesota Twins, they're goofing off on eBay, and they see a really nice card for under $100, like a really nice card, like an autograph, Krylov to 5, maybe, right?
Yep.
And then they get it for like a great deal, and then somebody offers them 10 times what he paid a week later, and he says no. First of all, if he was a Brewer fan, he wouldn't have found that card. I can't give him credit. I can give a little credit for finding it because he was looking, but I can't give him that much credit for going, oh, I found that Krylov. Well, you're a Twins fan. Like, you're stumbling on it.
So I think you're right, because I think Vegas Dave
I'm not even going to explain what I just said.
He was anticipating the move, but also he actually had to believe in Derek Carr, because Derek Carr, if he could have lost the job, they could have drafted someone else, and he could have already
Carr
been
looked
displaced.
like he was on his way out. Like,
right.
Like,
he looked like he was on the way out.
again.
And to be honest, he went from a couple mediocre years to an MVP caliber season. I think he was number 2 in the MVP voting. Mm-hmm. To then
I didn't realize
he hasn't done anything since. Well, and he got
early in his
yeah, like his third year, he almost won the MVP.
Right.
Broke his leg in the last game, so he didn't start for them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then now they've kind of reemerged.
Carr's always has some sort of magical aura around him that I can never put my finger on.
Well, and it's interesting because his brother had such a bad run in Houston,
Carr.
But he got hit so many times. If you look at the stats, his O-line was so bad that, like, how do we know he was a bust
his
versus
brother the number 1 pick?
Yeah, his brother was the actual number 1 pick, and then he was a first round, but not the number 1.
And wasn't it the first year the Texans were in the league?
Yes. And he literally...
And just nothing.
He got sacked more than any quarterback who's ever been
David
sacked.
Carr's on the cover of Beckett.
David
Carr. He's on the cover of Beckett.
David. Yeah.
One of the Beckett.
They both went to Fresno State too, so which is interesting that Fresno is obviously close to Vegas.
Yeah.
So it's
close to LA. Yeah.
It's close to it's a couple hour drive, I think. So
yeah. So I'm gonna say I think he's David. More knowledgeable than most.
Yep.
But he's also a gambler.
Yep.
And I do think him having such a large position, what else is he going to say?
Right.
He's not going to be like, this guy sucks. You want to buy? You want to fire sale?
He did talk about Trout, and I will give him this. One of the reasons he invested in Trout so heavy was he said, my hope, this was before he signed his contract, his hope was that he was going to move to a bigger market. Yeah, because if he goes to New York, even if he goes to the Mets, even if he goes to the Dodgers.
By the way, this is my favorite thing about baseball. And this is because there's so many people living in New York City. Mm-hmm. Every single good player is going to sign with the Yankees.
Right.
According to their fan base, their roster is going to be 264 of the 264 best players in baseball.
Right.
Joe Mauer is going to the Yankees. Everybody's going to the Yankees when the contract's up. I just
they can afford to buy. They can afford to pay everyone.
No, but I'm just saying, you can't have a 72-man roster. I don't think you're correct about all these players going to the Yankees.
Which, by the way, speaking of Yankees,
Speaking of the Yankees. No. 3 days ago, we're watching. I'm like, I'm going to turn on baseball. And Kirby was listening. She goes, good. And then they're on, and the Yankees were winning. Mm-hmm. My kid is the most bandwagon kid on the planet. Yeah. She goes, who's playing, Dad? And I'll say, well, that team's the Lions, and that team she likes the Vikings. I'll go, that team's the Lions, that team's the Packers. Well, I can't say that because she hates the Packers because she's a good girl. Lions and Bears, right?
Okay.
And she'll go, who's winning? I go, the Bears are winning. I'm rooting for the Bears. Like, she just goes to the winner, right? Yep. Steve does that. Steve was
what up,
Bills
Steve?
Fan. What up, Steve? Bills fan, Redskins fan, Bills fan. It's just like, wait, what's happening? And so she tells me during the game, she goes, who's winning? I go, the Yankees are winning. She goes, I heard at Tiger Club, which is the after school thing, that the Twins aren't doing good. I'm not going to be a Twins fan anymore. I'm a Yankee fan. And I told her, you're breaking my heart.
Wow.
And I told her she's breaking my heart, and I told her she was a traitor.
She's named after Kirby Puckett. I mean,
I told her that. She doesn't care. She goes, I don't care.
The greatest Minnesota athlete of all time. She's named after, and she just is already off the band.
She's off the Twins. The Twins are so bad.
Wow.
And by the way, she's not like, I like the Cardinals. I like the Yankees, the worst possible team. For a Twins fan to transfer to.
What's worse? Let me ask you this. What's worse? A Twins fan starting to cheer for the Yankees or a Vikings fan becoming a Packer fan? Which is worse?
Packers. Vikings, the Packers. Because Vikings, the Packers is here's the old line. If there was a chance, if the Vikings were, I'm going to use the old schedule. Mm-hmm. If the Vikings were 10-5 and we needed this win to be 11-5 to get in the playoffs,
yep.
And the Packers were 1-14. And it just didn't matter. They're playing a team that's 2-13, right?
Yep.
And you said you got a choice. Vikings win, Packers win. Vikings lose, Packers lose. Vikings lose, Packers lose. Screw them. I hate them. I just want them to lose. And if the Vikings can't make the playoffs, then that's just what it is, and it'll just save me a wide left anyway, so whatever. I hate the Packers. If the Yankees are playing Tampa Bay, I don't really care. If the Yankees win, like, whatever, the Twins aren't in it, I don't care. So that's
and I like Derek Jeter. I don't like Yankee fans, and I don't like the way they just buy their teams. And
sure.
Other than that, I mean, I don't like the Yankees, but
then
I've liked a few of their players individually, but I've never cheered for them.
Well, here's the other thing: the Vikings have beaten the Packers in the playoffs multiple times.
Right.
The Yankees knock us out all the time.
I'll be honest,
every time.
I don't think I will not cheer. I cheered for Brett Favre when he went to the Jets before he came to the Vikings. I'm not a fan of Aaron Rodgers wherever he goes, and that's not just because he's a Packer, but he's a special one for me to not like. I don't know.
One.
There's a unique. I'm not going to use the word hatred, but there's a strong dislike.
I listened to what's that podcast Kicker.
Oh, Pat McAfee.
Yeah, I listen to him, and he has Rodgers on once a week.
Yeah.
And there was like 3 months where Rodgers appeared to be a human.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, maybe he's not such a... And then just...
Prima donna.
He's just a horrible person.
He's horrible.
McAfee was trying to humanize him, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Like he was able to be a human for about 3 months, and then he couldn't do it anymore.
He just couldn't do it.
He's freaking Rodgers. No,
So,
I don't think... Do you think Rodgers tanked the first game? I don't think he did.
Looks like a different team now than it did.
Yeah, but I don't think he did. I don't think somebody can play. There's a few people that I suppose could. Because you got that kid that quit on Ohio State. I guess that can happen. But I don't think you can play like that your whole life. And then I don't think you can, like, even do it. Like, your body, your brain
part of it
won't
is your reputation's on the line. So even if you're so proud that you don't like the front office, like, you still care about your own performance enough.
But you know what I mean? Like, I'm just thinking, like, you're looking downfield, you see the receiver, he's open. You don't go, okay, I'm going to throw it in the dirt. I don't think you're even wired.
I don't think that's what it is. I think what it is he came in not having cared much in the offseason and wanting to leave. And so, like, there was there was a lack of competitiveness. There was kind of
you're saying that he was trying to do it.
No, he's not trying. He's just like, it was like I'm showing up to play my best. But I haven't prepared.
I think
that's
fair.
I
think that's fair.
And that would be my argument. But so let's talk about.
What were you going to say about the Yankees?
Who have been other? I don't have anything else on the Yankees.
Okay.
I don't think. Who else has been a surprise to you as far as? I'll tell you some guys that are selling for us NFL wise.
Well, one that's selling for me, and we'll get into why there's been such a long delay in a little bit. But
we're glad to have John back.
One of the national podcasts, I talk about finding 8 Taylor Heineke's.
Yes.
For $3 a card, 7 autos, and a purple power to 50, with 2 silver prism autos, number to 350, for $3 a piece, right? Okay. And so let's just say I have made my money back a couple times over. I sold 2 of the Prism Silvers for $200 a piece. The power was like $125.
Nice.
These were already good deals. Like the silver auto was like $50 when I got it. So it was just a crazy good deal. Anyway, so Heineke obviously sold after that big emotional game.
Yep.
Week 2, it was one of the days I was actually at the shop watching it, and I listed them that night. And I sold. Their cars.
So you were into those for about what, $2-3 a piece?
$3 a piece.
$3 a piece. And what was the biggest return? What was the one that sold for the highest?
2 silver prisms at $200.
At $200 a piece.
The cheapest card I sold was $80.
So you bought all the cards for $300. 100 cards at $3.
I bought 120 cards for like $360.
And those two
you're
cards,
talking like the whole batch?
Yeah. So
yeah.
No, I'm saying those two silver prisms paid for the whole batch plus profit.
And all those Heinekens I sold so far, I've already doubled my money. And you bought and we talked about that in that
Derrick
podcast.
Henry,
You bought a Derrick Henry for me for like $30 or $40.
That was number.
And
50.
then I found another Henry Galactic that's worth like $250.
Yeah.
It's unnumbered, so I didn't even know. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. That's cool. And then I realized it was Galactic when I tried to price it. And so, but I cleaned up at that. But here's the thing. I maybe looked at 5% of the cards at that.
Well, and that's the whole thing is like people don't necessarily think you can grind and still find that stuff. But like that's at the time, the Taylor Heinekes were worth 30 or 40, right?
Yeah, and
they? I mean,
totally great deal.
They were already
great deal.
Huge, great deal. Let alone the price. So it wasn't like they were $1. Now they're.
I'm going to add on to that story just a tad because of some new information, and then we'll continue to talk about surprises. 3 or 4 days ago, I'm doing shipping at the stores, like 2 a.m, and I'm getting my shipping done, and I sold a Heineken, and I'm packing it up, and I immediately start. An idea popped in my head, and I immediately start swearing. You've heard me swear and go on a tirade before. Like, it just flows. And I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. I'm like, you can't be... I had something in my hand. I can't remember what it was. I threw it across the store. I'm like, I'm losing my mind, right? You know why?
No.
A thought popped in my head. That dealer, so the way it worked is a $4 table. All the cards were $4.
Yep.
I got him down to 3 because I said, how many do I got to buy to get him down to 3? He said 100, so okay, cool. He had a whole nother booth across the pathway at a dollar table. There were probably 100 Taylor Heinekes, all silver prisms, colors, numbered.
Not autos, not numbered. Yeah, he only put the hot. Yeah, right.
He just put the autos and the purple power to 50 for 3.
Right.
That means the silvers, the colors, I'm sure he has some regular base. Maybe I wouldn't have bought those. I probably could have bought 50 more. I could have spent another $50, made another 50.
Dude, I sold a red Mojo Prism non-auto to $99 for $110 or something. So that would have been the dollar.
No, that would have been in the dollar box if he would.
Or maybe the 2 or
he
whatever.
would have had stuff like that, and they're based on what he and they were all by team.
Yeah.
I would just walked over to the Vikings and knowing exactly where they were. I would have had to look at 600 cards.
Which, by the way, had someone come into our shop and recognize that we had his contender autos for $5 in our Vikings auto box, and we ended up pulling them when he started that last playoff game.
Yeah.
But like, there's
still
potential at shows.
Oh yeah.
Right now to find, I bet Heineke's for a decent buy.
No,
think about it. He was a rookie in 2015.
That's a long time
Same year as Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota's a backup for the Raiders, and now Taylor Heineke. It's so this is what happens in the NFL, which is awesome for cards, right?
All right, movement and then people comeback stories and stuff like that. Now here's the thing. We'll kind of go back to Derek Carr. I'm done with the Heineke. I'm just telling you that little tidbit.
Yep.
I got angry again, like in my brain. I'm trying not. I've already got the expletives out, but like I got angry again. I can't believe I've been going to shows since 1988.
Yeah.
I went to a show the weekend after 89 Upper Deck came out and packed for $1 a pack. And I said, screw that. I can get 2 packs of Score for $1. That's a bad deal. And I'm 10. What do you want from me? Right? Yeah. So, but like this is like my, I'm a veteran. And I didn't go, but this guy's got some Heinekes over at the dollar. Like, seriously? It took me 2 months to come to that realization. So,
well, it's crazy. There was other people that dug through those boxes and not pulled him.
No, because I dug through that Tuesday early setup, like relatively early in the day. I mean, I was like one of the very first people to look at his card. But no, I bet they would have lasted maybe even till Thursday. Wow. Because Fitzpatrick was the starter. Yeah. But here's the thing. Heineke signed... Well, here's the real thing. Yep. Heineke signed a contract, a 4-year contract. And I know they're not guaranteed and everything. And they had Fitzpatrick. So there's 2 things. One, they're not going to sign a younger than Fitzpatrick quarterback for a decent amount of money and not play him. Right. And 2, Fitzpatrick never ends the season ever.
No, it's never happened, right?
So so if you ever see a team and Tyrod Taylor is the starter, just look at the backup and buy his cards.
Right. So if we were looking at the Beckett today, which we used to do back in the day, and there's up and down arrows.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit some quarterbacks. You tell me
Burrow.
Up or down.
Is enough time for Burrow?
I would guess Burrow's stuff is taking a bump. Herbert's taking a bigger bump.
Has he really?
This week he beat Patrick Mahomes on the road.
Oh, that's right, he did.
And they're actually higher in the standings. Mm-hmm. And Herbert's played pretty well. And I think his stuff is – I don't think it's above the peak last year, but it's above the offseason dip.
So sure. I'm going to argue that
trending up.
He's a harder sell now than he was 3 weeks ago.
Who?
Herbert.
Yeah, I mean –
he's not winning the Super Bowl.
Right.
I mean, he might. I mean, possible. But,
possible.
But like, he's not.
You know
but it's not.
Who's the second best quarterback in the NFL statistically right
now? Cousins.
Kirk.
I only
Captain
know that
Kirk.
Because whenever you start a question like that, the answer is always Kirk Cousins.
It's Kirk Cousins.
So, like,
how well has Kirk Cousins? But now listen to this: Kirk Cousins, if it wasn't for Dalvin Cook fumbling and Greg Joseph making a kick, he would have led 2 game-winning drives, week 1 and 2, and we'd be 3-0 right now.
No.
And literally, he would be the favorite. I mean, 3 weeks in for the MVP.
We just talked about that. Don't buy too much into it.
About week 6 or 7. You might be able to start saying, okay, who's like, an MVP favorite. Week 3, it's
I just think it's so hilarious that anytime you pose a question like that, I just got to figure who is the more likely answer.
Tom Brady
Kirk Cousins or Tom Brady?
Yeah,
it's like,
I know.
I'm going to give you a tidbit for everybody out there. And this is just like a rule of thumb to live by. And I think Evan will back me up on that. If anybody ever says, do you know where so-and-so MLB player was born, the answer is always
where you are.
No. What's the answer?
The Dominican?
Where was he born? The Dominican Republic.
Oh, the Dominican.
It's like 21% of the players are from the Dominican. His name could be Bob Johnson, and if I didn't know, I'd be like, DR? Like I'm going to win.
It's the default.
I'm just going to win, right? So your default is Tom Brady or Kirk Cousins. Now,
and actually, those are the best 2 quarterbacks statistically.
I'm with you.
My 2 guys.
I'm with you most of the way on Kirk Cousins. You get a little, you kind of go like I'm a libertarian politically. Mm-hmm. You would be like the anarchist on Kirk Cousins. I'd be like, whoa, I didn't say all that, And so, yeah, I'm with you though. When we lose 43 to 41, I'm not blaming Kirk Cousins. And everybody will go, Kirk could have. Kirk 49 points.
I think Kirk has something like 7 or 8 touchdowns, no picks, and he's gone like 170 throwing attempts without anything.
You got to remember, when he came to the Vikings, I remember listening to radio. I remember this distinctly. I'm dropping off packages at downtown Minneapolis post office. It was really cool. You could drive in there 24 hours a day and just drop it off at the loading dock. It was awesome. So I'm going there. I'm listening to K-Fan. Mm-hmm. And they were talking about how the Vikings had too many offensive linemen, and they released one of our starters, one of our kind of long-time starters. The name escapes me. And then we proceeded to lose 4 more linemen to injuries. Right. And then he's getting destroyed out there. So I'm like, Minnesota fans, man, they...
If anyone has looked at the first 3 games and thought Kirk Cousins is the problem, they just don't understand football. They don't know football.
Well, no, I've noticed everybody's blaming Zimmer.
Oh, no, Zimmer's made some blunders. I mean, if we want to talk Viking football... I
haven't heard any Cousin bashing.
Fire Zimmer. I'm all over Fire Zimmer.
No.
Like that squib kick at the end of the half against Arizona was one of the stupidest things you could have done. It gave him a 15-yard shorter field, and they kicked a 63-yarder with no time left. Then that was the difference in the game. It's like, why are you not kicking out of the back of the end zone? Make them go the whole... Why are we, wasting extra time? You squib quick kick so the clock can start when there's 8 seconds left, so that's the last play. Right. You don't squib kick when there's 25 seconds left.
You put 10 defensive backs in that.
Yeah, it's just like, no, what are we doing here?
One-man rush. Okay, so Burrow probably kicked up. I haven't looked that up, but, I mean, he's been playing very well.
Kyler Murray's going up.
And and Burrow has gotten hurt, and so there's all these question marks.
Yep.
Coming back from injury. And I think he's going to need a couple more weeks.
And they're 2-1.
And then I think he'll pop.
Yeah, they're 2-1. So they're.
But I think he's really going to pop if they're 3. Even if they're 3-2, but his numbers are really good. People are like, yeah, he's back.
The big surprise for rookies, though, of the entire rookie class, I would say. I don't know. I don't know if cards reflect it, but Jamar Chase.
Oh yeah,
his receiver is.
He went from this guy cannot catch a ball.
Can't catch to 3 touchdowns.
He can't catch anything.
Yeah.
5. He broke the record.
4 in the first 3 games.
4 in the first.
Yeah, he broke Moss's record, right?
Yeah. Or tied Moss's record. Might have been a tie.
Yeah,
I can't remember because I thought I was half paying attention.
He's got 4. Yeah, he's got 4.
Yeah. See if whereas
as we look at we always talk about this, but quarterbacks, it's almost worse for those first couple. Trevor Lawrence is with such a bad team.
Oh yeah.
That.
Oh, you did, bro.
So he literally Lawrence goes to such a bad team. They're just so bad. We don't really know how much is Trevor Lawrence's fault at this point.
All right.
And Zach Wilson, the Jets are awful. The Jets,
but yeah,
you could send
Wilson
any quarterback.
Is just bad.
You could send any quarterback to the Jets though right now, and they would look awful. They are such a bad team that you almost feel for someone who gets drafted that high. Whereas some of these guys who went later in the Mac Jones. Mac Jones is in a better spot.
Oh, absolutely.
Than Zach Wilson's in. Justin Fields doesn't look good yet. But
here's the thing: Justin Fields. Justin Fields is a good example. So Justin Fields got a lot of hype in preseason because he looked so good.
Right.
So now there's two sides of this coin. I haven't taken a position on Fields yet.
Mm-hmm.
One is, look what he did. Who cares? It's one game. So the theme of this podcast is stop using small sample size to do anything with Carr.
That's why I'm only buying Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, right?
He's got a big enough sample size for me to go all in.
But what if he gets injured next week and you lose all the value?
Yeah. And he doesn't get number 8. Oh, bummer.
So it's a horrible game. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So he went from he's going to be the best quarterback in the draft. Now he had a bad game. Now he's worst quarterback. But here's the thing: he's on the Bears, and the Bears don't. Quarterbacks are horrible when they go to the Bears.
Yeah,
quarterbacks are horrible when they go to Jets. And there is something to that.
There is something to the fact that teams don't produce good.
It's like the Ravens' defense. Right.
They're always good.
It's been 18 years and they've yet to have a bad defense. There's got to be something to this pattern.
It's coaching. It's
philosophy.
It's the organization valuing something. Whereas Zimmer values defense, he doesn't care much for offense. And so our offense could literally be a top 5 offense in the whole NFL. I feel like. And it still is not going to be the focus for him. It's always going to be like, now we need more on the defense because the offense has enough wealth. They have enough riches. Let's diversify.
He doesn't want to make it the best offense.
Well, and the budget gets divvied up much heavier towards the defense when you have a defensive mind.
And the defense hasn't been performing.
Right. Right now, the NFL, let's be honest, it's an offensive league. There's not a lot of teams like the Ravens in 2000 or whatever.
All right, so we talked about Burrow, we talked about Herbert. Herbert bumping up, I didn't quite realize that. I thought I should have.
Lamar too. He's played very
well. He?
Yes.
I saw that he had 100. He had 100 yards rushing last week.
Lamar.
Fourth in rushing yards.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was looking at the rushing leader.
Lamar. So Lamar, I have an up arrow. I would say Kyler Murray has an up arrow. Big shocker. Patrick Mahomes has the down arrow.
Yeah, well, but Mahomes was worth so much, and then he's struggling.
And the
card
team's
collector so here's your opportunity long term.
Mm-hmm.
Let the card market overcorrect on everybody.
Right.
And it's like, look, is Patrick Mahomes going to just suck for the rest of his career? Most likely.
No.
He could. Possible. But no, he's not. If you're
talented.
into Patrick Mahomes, then he takes a 20% dip. All right.
I love seeing on Facebook all these people go, Mahomes sucks. What do you got to sell me?
Yeah, right. but at the same token, I'm not trying to hold on to the Heineke.
No, right.
I'm moving these Heineke. The concept that Heineke is, and he could.
Yep.
Tom Brady was a 6th round pick, but no. Here's the other thing with
let me ask you a question related to that on a more short term level. A guy like Matthew Stafford, as you look right now at their team, do you just immediately sell, or are you going to wait in this season?
I might wait on Stafford just because the Rams very well could be in the Super Bowl.
Right.
Or
what would it do for his career?
Or how about this? Or they could very well be 12-5, going to the playoffs, Super Bowl favorite. You can sell when they're 12-5.
Then you sell that. Yeah. So let me ask you this: let's say Stafford wins one. Now he's got the same titles as Aaron Rodgers. What value does he have compared to Aaron Rodgers? Because they're the same. They're about the same draft class. Are they? I think Stafford's a year later or 2 years later.
05
Stafford's Rodgers is 05.
09.
Stafford's.
That's 4 years later.
Oh, is he 4 years later? Okay, but he was number 1 pick too.
Oh. Not 2.
No, I'm not saying Rodgers was one, but I'm saying.
Oh no, 1st round pick. Yeah.
As a actual first overall pick. I think people in their mind think Stafford was a bust. Related to
but that's true. My favorite thing to talk about is how Christian Laettner was a really good basketball player.
Right.
But the reason why everybody hates him is because he was supposed to be the guy that made the Timberwolves the powerhouse. And he didn't do that. But if you look at his career, like, he's borderline Hall of Fame. If you look at his career numbers, no, he's not. But he's a 10% away from the Hall of Fame.
He wasn't a Greg Oden. He wasn't Sam Bowie. Bust.
No, I mean, he's like 17-point career average. Look at his rebounds. He's up there. I mean, he's a great basketball player.
Right.
But he was the third pick? I think third pick. And he was supposed to bring...
No, he was number 2.
Okay.
Shaq was
so he was supposed to bring this expansion team, and he was going to be the guy, and he wasn't the guy.
He wasn't the guy.
But that doesn't mean he's bad. So I think you're absolutely right about Stafford. The same thing. It's like, he's amazing, but it's Detroit. They lost, and it's like, I don't want to tell you. And it wasn't even his fault.
You could literally see Stafford. Let's say they have a couple hot years. Let's say they make a Super Bowl and win one, or they make the playoffs, go deep, and then win a Super Bowl.
No.
Is he elevated to like Aaron Rodgers level, or is he still a step
because he lost all those years.
Yeah.
And he lost all that fandom.
But Stafford, believe it or not, I want to say is a top 10 all-time quarterback in yards.
But he was in Detroit, right? Now, what? The way I could be wrong about that is if St. Louis, they win a Super Bowl and St. Louis falls in love with him so much. And
St. Louis? You mean Los Angeles?
That's
okay. They left there a little while ago.
St. Louis. Oh, no. I'm an old man.
You are.
You know what's funny? I started paying attention to football heavy, the first year they went to St. Louis.
Yeah.
So I don't even, but I'm not quite old enough to remember him in LA.
I never remember in LA. Yeah, I don't remember in LA first.
And so, but anyway, so that actually I'm going to make my point even stronger now. He brings the title to LA. That's a stronger point.
And that's a good market, right?
And you got 20, 30 million people that pay attention at least,
right?
Who now become fanatics about this quarterback that brought him a title.
Yes.
That could be a big
deal. Let's be honest.
And Green Bay has 11 people living there.
Right. Well, and forever he's remembered as the quarterback who won. Like, there's guys who,
people talk about Mark Rippon.
And people will collect him forever.
Yeah.
They'll collect somebody forever that brought them. Like, if Kirk Cousins brought the Vikings the first title, he would go down as the second greatest quarterback in Vikings history immediately.
Behind Dante Culpepper?
Behind Fran Tarkenton. But then Dante would be like, number 3 or 4.
Dante. No. Whenever I say I have this,
because Fran took us to more, but I mean.
Well, and I'm never arguing that Dante Culpepper is career-wise better than Fran Tarkenton. I'm just saying if I get 2004 Dante, there's not a year that Fran played that I would take him.
No. I mean,
Dante's what's up.
Dante was a beast.
I just when he stepped down that linebacker, I fell in love.
Yeah, no, he was a unique. Like, there's really not been a guy his size that could move and throw. Like, there's been guys who have been as big as him. Like, Roethlisberger can't run like him. And then there's been a bunch of guys that have been really mobile that are nowhere near. It's like, he would run people over, actually.
He ran like, he ran. You know what he did? You know what he was? He was Ben Roethlisberger and DK Metcalf as a combo.
Yeah, he was...
What the hell are you talking about?
By the way, I just got in a card from a customer, a dual gold standard auto of Dante Culpepper and Kirk Cousins. Numbered to 10. Kind of a cool card, right? I'm like, that's cool. That's cool that they decided to do that.
That's a cool card.
So anyway,
well, they've been doing card companies have been doing a good job, kind of looking to the past.
Yep.
And bringing veterans in the sets, and because people still collect those. Well, that's one thing I didn't realize before I opened the store, and I was just doing K-Bid out of the shop. Mm-hmm. I had asked you have no idea what I'm going to say, but I had asked you about what's the deal with this? And it was just like Heritage, Rod Carews, and Babe Ruth and stuff, and he's like, dude, that sells. All those Hall of Fame 30, 40, 50, 60s plays, that sells really well. I'm like, really?
Those guys love that.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
And so,
it's
good that they're in there.
So let's go through a couple other quarterbacks. So let me run through all the starters. Josh Allen.
Disappointment so far, right?
Not last week.
No, right. But
4 touchdowns and a rushing touchdown.
But he had a really bad game the week before,
Which, by the way, if you're a sports bettor, when they lost week 1.
Week 1, okay.
I immediately knew they were going to get a really good line the next week. This happened the same thing to the Vikings, right? Yeah. The Vikings lose by a kick that they should have made.
Yeah.
And so now they come home and they're an underdog to Seattle coming here.
Seattle's a good team, though, too.
But if we beat the Bengals in Arizona,
there's no way
we're a huge.
Yeah.
We're a 3-point favorite instead. We're a 3-point underdog. So like,
Yeah.
that's an interesting way.
Oh, that's
of
interesting.
overreacting.
The Vikings should be 3-0.
Well, yeah,
How about that?
yeah. And this is true in the card market too, right?
Yeah.
One bad performance, people overreact one way,
Yep.
which gives you an opportunity because it's going to come back, right? It's going to
Yeah.
correct. It's going to
Mahomes
balance out.
would be probably the easiest one right now.
Right.
Okay.
So
Mahomes get a down arrow,
Allen's
man.
down a little bit maybe because of that week 1 loss, but they look like they're
Yeah.
legit, right?
All right. So what else you got for quarterback?
Tua, Miami,
Who's hurt? So
just
that's-
super down arrow.
Well, here's one thing. I was a hard sell on Tua. I don't like Tua. I don't think he's good. And then he gets hurt. Like, whatever. I wish I would have sold more. 'Cause
Right.
I didn't like him in the first place. So,
Mac Jones, New England, the rookie.
no.
He's selling though, which is
He
interesting.
is selling,
I just sold
but I'm selling.
I just sold an auto for like $275, which
Yeah.
was probably only worth $100 before they declared
Right.
it
And
starting.
I'm a seller.
Yep.
I think it's just.
don't
He's the
think-
next Tom Brady in that weird market. Just thinks they're gonna have a Super Bowl winner.
And what's gonna happen is they're probably gonna go through 2 or 3 quarterbacks like the rest of the league does.
Now,
but
Mac Jones might end up being a
between
starter,
getting-
but we're not gonna know anything for
right.
a little while.
Zach Wilson, I think we've already
He
kind of declared.
Stinks.
Burrow, we talked about.
I
Lamar,
like Burrow a lot.
Where do you like Lamar? Do you think he's in the elite?
This is how much I like Lamar. I had an optic auto Prism to 99, and I auctioned that thing off a month ago, and I'm still happy I did it.
Yeah.
Any given moment, something bad's gonna happen, and
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't because
Right.
he's fun to watch. And this is nothing about like I don't like Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson scares the crap. He's like
Yes.
Zion. He scares
he's
the
too
snot out of
too
me.
risky.
I just,
Yep. Baker Mayfield. Cleveland's obviously playing
I've
better.
never
They're
liked
2-1.
Baker.
You're a sell on him.
I don't want to give an opinion. I just don't personally.
I
care
will.
for him.
I will say this much: the Browns fan base is loyal.
Yeah.
They are so hungry,
Kinda
like
has
the
to be.
Bills and the Vikings, for a champion. If he were to bring, so let's say a team outside of the big, let's say
Yeah.
5 favorites wins,
Yeah.
that quarterback is going to get
Minnesota's like that.
a huge up
No.
arrow, right? And there's probably 5 guys that have the potential. I think Baker is one of them. I'm not putting him as my
I
favorite.
know. Was
They-
it Jeff
they could've beat
Wilson?
the-
Jeff
they could've beat the
Wilson was real
Chiefs.
hot on Baker. He was buying Baker in a lot
Yep.
of his videos.
Yeah, I like Baker.
But I don't have a position.
Pittsburgh, Ben Roethlisberger looks off. I don't know why he's not out of the
Oh,
league.
I'm a
He's-
buy on Roethlisberger.
Yeah, I mean, you
Big
I
time
know, but
buy.
He's so bad right now, though.
No, but
it's
aren't-
embarrassing. Have you seen some of the highlights?
Aren't you a massive buy on Roethlisberger though?
Massive.
Don't you want him to like lose every game and have his rookie cards be worth just nothing by the end of the year?
No, because that's
and just
the,
buy
no, because
and
that's the
buy.
last. That's the last memory.
It doesn't
for
matter.
The Steelers
It
fans.
doesn't matter.
No, I get it.
The Hall of Fame announcement's gonna come, and that stuff's gonna take off. And or not even that. A year before the announcement comes, it's gonna just start going up.
Who do you think has better long-term value? And they're in the same class: Roethlisberger, Manning, or Rivers. Who do you think's the biggest value in the sports card?
Manning is in the same class as
Yep.
Roethlisberger.
3 Hall of Famers, same class.
Oh,
04.
Eli?
Yeah, Eli Manning.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I was like-
No, Eli. No, Peyton was in
I
'98.
was like,
John. Peyton
what
was in
planet?
98.
I didn't
We're
really
talking
understand what
6
you.
years. Well, I'm talking 3
I
Hall
was
of
kind
Famers.
of,
Yeah.
I kind of didn't pay attention to the same class. I was like,
Yep.
what? No. Roethlisberger is number 1
You think so?
all day.
He has.
Eli is not a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
and-
he is. He is gonna.
I-
he's gonna be in the Hall of Fame. Whether
Oh,
you
he
like
might
it or
be,
not.
but he's not one. He's
Okay.
Troy Aikman's in the Hall of Fame too. That doesn't mean he's the Hall of Famer.
Right. So who do you like better, Manning or Rivers?
Rivers.
But
So you
go
I think
Roethlisberger,
but not
Rivers.
card wise. I think Rivers
Okay.
is the better quarterback card wise because of market.
Yep.
Manning
and because of the
and Super
Steelers,
Bowl.
yeah, and Super
Super
Bowls.
Bowl.
Yep. So Rivers
But
has
Pittsburgh's
0.
a huge market, a rabid market like Cleveland.
Yep. Like
and
some
so
of the biggest.
If
yeah,
the market
Cowboys.
wants to overcorrect on Roethlisberger
Yep.
when he's 70 years old in his last season,
Yep.
and his rookie card should be $100 and now it's 40, buy Roethlisberger. Like,
Right.
what are we doing here? He's going to be. We talk about freaking Terry Bradshaw and who's the other quarterback?
Montana.
For the Steelers. Terry Bradshaw and there's another quarterback for the Steelers. They get brought up from like the 70s. I was like, wasn't that good?
Well, let me say this. In light of the comment on the market, like the team, the fan base being an aspect of cards,
Yeah.
I think Dak Prescott's a good buy. because I think the Cowboys are going to be. They're
But
obviously
he
a lot
does
better.
have to perform, and I don't think he will.
He has so far. The first 2 weeks. Yeah.
No, again, I don't think he will. I
don't
don't
think
think
he
the
will long term,
Cowboys
sure.
are going to. No, which is kind of sad because
But-
I really like Lamb.
But they
a
did
lot.
sign him to a big enough deal that he's going to be there a few years.
Yeah, I'd be a sell on Dak.
Okay.
Or maybe a wait for him to go up some more and then sell.
Sure. Houston, it doesn't matter who's
Yeah,
in Houston.
Houston-
Tennessee, Tannehill,
No, it's not a thing.
Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence. I mean,
Trevor Lawrence,
it's actually a good buy if you believe
Trevor
in him.
Lawrence, I'd almost want to go. I hope they lose the next 5 games, and then I'm going to start buying.
Yeah.
I kind of would, but here's the thing: if you do that, you might have to wait 2 years
Right. Yeah, you have to be willing to
because
wait. Yep.
they're going to have the number 1 pick again,
Yep.
and they're going to have the number 1 pick again,
Right.
and then all of a sudden, 2 years in football, a team can swing in one draft,
Right.
and
But
so
it's
big
more.
time.
I'll say this much: the way the Raiders have changed their team, they had the least amount of sacks. I think I read 2 or 3 years ago in the NFL. Last year they were close to the top.
Yeah.
They've really invested a lot of their high draft picks on defense, which that benefits a quarterback,
No.
but it doesn't benefit him immediately and directly
absolutely.
like people are used to. And so Jacksonville has a terrible defense. So do the Jets. So like they're going to have to do a lot more than just
I would
draft some
on Trevor
linemen.
Lawrence. I would absolutely hope for 5 weeks, 8-game losing streak, and
Yep.
then just start buying.
and that's our
Because he has, from a scouting standpoint,
Yep.
he's off the
How many
it's
times
him-
have we seen a quarterback literally go to the worst team as the number 1 overall pick and immediately win? It just doesn't
Peyton
happen.
Manning did it. Peyton
It
Manning
do-
won in 15.
Well, no, and Mahomes was drafted 10th, and that first year, even if he would have played, they were
Wow.
not that good.
Yeah, they probably
you
wouldn't
know?
have played.
They wouldn't have been that
Very
good. So
Yeah, and so
now
but-
Herbert was a rare example. They didn't make the playoffs, but they were actually a far better team
yeah.
his first year. But he was a late draft pick in
Yeah.
the first round.
No, he's
he
a
was.
fifth pick.
Yeah, but I mean, he didn't go to the worst team. He didn't go to
Oh,
literal
no,
number
he
1.
didn't go to the worst.
Going
yeah.
to like the 5th through the 10th is far better. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
So they had like 5 wins.
they had some pieces
Yeah.
around him. You know,
Now, with Trevor Lawrence though, I don't even know what you can just Google it, like perfect score or whatever.
yeah.
But for a scouting report style, they said Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, and Trevor Lawrence is the only one who got a perfect score on the scouting thing.
Yep.
Like, that's a really small number of people.
And I'm not drawing any conclusions off 3 games for
no.
Jacksonville. So
And
far,
so
you know.
I'm like, if you can get Lawrence, like really low end stuff, like
Yep.
you can get Lawrence for $2 and Wilson's $1.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this.
Lawrence,
I also think holding boxes from this year unopened
no.
have a really good upside because there's always the chance that someone else emerges.
Mm-hmm.
Quarterback wise, you have 5 quarterbers. Trey Lance could end up being who knows.
But that's also. And we talked about this a little bit before, but I bought a big massive collection yesterday.
Yep.
First day back, we're gonna know why that's happened. Like there's a dolly, just 14 monster boxes in 3 rows. I'm pulling all the rookies out, and I just stash them. I don't know who's
Right.
gonna be good.
Right.
Like, and so that's the same thing as buying wax. If you're buying
Yep.
collection,
Yep.
and then these rookie cards, it's an absolute rookie, right? It's
Yep.
whatever. It's never going to be a monster card anyway. But you can maybe get 40 cents a card, $4 for a lot of 10.
Why?
Yeah. Why?
Capitalize on the stuff that's higher in the
Yeah.
market. So, like when you get a collection, this is a good conversation actually. When a collection is bought, sometimes it's interesting based on what the collection is. I've taken 2 different, maybe 3 different approaches. You're pointing out a really good one, which is like the stuff that's not worth that much. Why sell it? I might as well hold it.
Yeah.
I'll sell the stuff that's
Now,
high.
you do want to sort it. You
Right.
want to be ready to go. 'Cause
Yeah.
sometimes that sell opportunity is like for a week
Right.
or for 3 days. You just want to be like ready
Literally, it's the Darrell Henderson
to go. Oh, yeah.
announcement.
Oh,
It's
no,
the,
wait,
you know-
wait. I sold 5 card lot for the rookie, $42. Who was it? Last year. You're not right. I got it right.
Leonard Fournette.
Brett Rippon.
Brett Rippon, the backup quarterback.
$40 for a 5 card. And it's just they were in my stash.
Yep.
He was announced to be the starter next game. I had 5 prisms. I put them on, sold it for $42. And then I never heard from him after that.
Right. You know who had the same thing happen in Denver? Trevor Siemian. Remember when he started like 4 games?
I never had any cards.
His
Really?
contender sold for like $200 for like
Really?
3 weeks.
Wow.
Now he's our backup or he's like third string somewhere. Right? I don't even know what. Like literally, the guy literally had like a cup of coffee in the NFL.
Now, if you take that approach, one, you have to kind of have a large collection.
Yep.
If you have a really small collection, then whatever. But if you have a large collection, you're buying collections, and you're trying to maximize return, that is a really good strategy. And it's a strategy I employ significantly in my business.
Yep. And specifically, quarterbacks, I think more so than all the other positions.
If all you did was open wax and literally sell everything and just keep the quarterbacks.
Yep.
And then take the same process. James Morgan.
Yep.
Just don't sell him.
Yep.
You know, sell Herbert and whatever. Yeah, you could do that and just be like, look, man, I mean, yeah, that wide receiver might break up, but I don't want to hold all this stuff. That's fine. That's fine. But hold
and
on
they
the
don't have the potential. Receivers don't have the potential to be the face of a team the way the quarterback does, and they also don't have the potential statistically of having the length of the career of a quarterback. Right? So you have a bunch of things against them.
You can't really do that in baseball and basketball.
Yep. No, it's different. Yep.
You can kind of do it in baseball in the sense is like get rid of your catchers.
Yep.
I mean, you can do that because like even
get rid of your pitcher autos
and your pitcher autos, like you can do that. Pitcher and
catcher.
Now catcher's a little weird because they do pop for a little while, but like long term they just never do anything.
Right.
It just, I mean, I looked up Ivan Rodriguez's prices. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
It's like nothing.
It's nothing.
It's like nothing. He might be. He I think Ivan Rodriguez is the best catcher in the history of baseball. Better than Salvatore Perez.
He's better. I'll say this much: he's better when you factor both. If you factor just hitting, I don't think he's the best.
No, but
yep.
Well,
keep in mind, Yogi Berra was a 3-time league MVP.
Oh yeah.
Ivan Rodriguez never won a league.
But I think Rodriguez got him like on WAR by like 20 points. It's not even close.
Yeah.
His WAR is so much higher than everybody else's.
Yeah.
No. If you're talking about baseball cards, offense, Johnny Bench, whatever.
Yep.
And then of course Johnny Bench's star has fallen a little bit because Salvatore Perez just broke his single season record, and you know me.
Not to toot our own horn here, but
Salvatore Perez in one of our podcasts, he was one of the guys I said is a guy you could buy because he got a potential to get to the Hall of Fame. But what we saw was literally 4 months later, you could have just bought him and sold him and have already gotten your return in. Right. I believe you weren't such a big fan of that name, but okay, whatever, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I mean,
I'll put it this way: when you're talking about basketball and you disagree with me, I'm kind of like, yeah, okay, fair enough. You're probably right.
You're right about Salvador Perez. Card-wise, have we even seen a price move on him?
Yeah, so his Bowman Chrome, 2011 Bowman Chrome, because there's not enough good rookies in that product.
Wow.
I want to say his
Freddie Freeman and all those guys.
His base Chromes are 20.
Okay.
And so they were probably like 8 or 7. And so then you can extrapolate refractors and all that stuff. I never really looked up his 2010 first. So I just don't have any. I never looked it up, so I don't have any context. But my guess is tripled.
Now the shame for him is he's being overshadowed by 2 of the best seasons we've seen in the last 30 years.
Well, the other thing too is my argument was a long-term hold because he does have a World Series under his belt, and he was a World Series MVP.
So here's my question: who's your ML MVP pick at this point?
Oh man, you got one, Evan?
I mean, it's Vlad or Shohei. It's no one else. It's the question is who do you think?
I know a lot of people are bashing Ohtani. Okay, so you bash Ohtani because he's not a top 5 pitcher. Because he's only like a top 20 pitcher. But he's the second or the third best hitter, and he's the 20th best pitcher.
Right.
I don't know why he gets a discount because he's
But let me say that. No, let me
and
say
he's
this
doing
though.
good.
But let me say this, and this is a factor. Everybody else plays another position unless you're a DH, right?
Yeah.
What if you're the best hitter and you're the best center fielder, first baseman, third baseman.
Is Vlad,
are we waiting
is Vlad
pitching?
first or he's still a third?
He's at third, right?
I can't.
He's at first.
Is
he?
at first?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
Okay.
so Vlad's defense is meaningless. I was the first baseman, so I'm not. Yeah, but it's like I was a catcher too. But like his defense isn't a thing. Like it's not he's not a center fielder. He's not a shortstop.
Yep.
So you can't make that argument, right? But it's just so weird. They're like, well, he's not even a top 5 pitcher. Okay, but he's the 20th best pitcher, and he's the second best hitter.
And a pitcher has
20th best pitcher doesn't get him up one more
right
spot.
Well, and I'll say this:
Weird.
the pitching position has greater influence than
Uh-huh.
all the other
Absolutely.
defensive positions by a long ways, right? How we've never had this we've never had to have this debate because there's never been a pitcher who hit this well.
No.
Like Babe
Oh,
Ruth,
Babe Ruth.
but Babe Ruth
didn't hit. Yeah.
Well, no, Babe Ruth
Oh, he did
didn't.
hit.
No,
Yeah.
Babe Ruth didn't pitch as long and as well as Ohtani. though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They moved him out of pitching.
No,
much
I don't
sooner.
think so. Didn't Babe Ruth pitch for like 4 seasons?
It's like three or four, I think.
Three or 4. So I think Ohtani's at the same number of seasons. So I don't know if we're gonna make that quite.
But I'm saying in one season he did not have as good of a
I don't
season.
know. I don't know.
I'll look up Rusa, but I remember looking at the numbers. So Vlad, on the other hand, last I looked, is leading the league in average.
Not in RBIs.
He's tied, he's tied for second in home runs.
Babe Ruth pitched for like 10 years.
The what?
How many total games do you
Oh,
pitch?
10 years. Wow.
About 150.
150 games. Okay. What's his career ERA and stuff?
Probably better than what you think it is. 228.
Yeah, it's kind of the dead ball era too, though. So
Was
it's
it
kind of
228?
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, even dead ball. I mean,
Still.
you was seeing people
Yeah.
320s and
Yeah.
4s.
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't know it was that good.
So Ruth was a far better pitcher than people realize. So, but and if let me say this: if Vlad were to somehow win the Triple Crown, which he can't, I don't think he can't.
No,
I
he
don't think.
won't.
But if he did, he has to be the MVP over Ohtani, even despite how well, because it's only happened twice since 1969 that someone's won the Triple Crown. So I mean, I think Ohtani.
So here's the problem. He's tied with my boy Salvatore in home runs. So he's not the leader in home runs.
who is?
Perez is
No, Ohtani or Vlad.
Vlad.
Okay, so Vlad's
Vlad's tied, but Ohtani's only one back.
One back,
Right. He's not the leader in RBIs because Perez is. And he's got him by. Shit. He's got him. Shoot. Got him.
Vlad has a huge percentage lead on all those guys hitting average wise.
Perez is up on him on RBIs by.
No,
Wow.
we're not talking about Perez. We're talking. He's not. Perez
I'm
is
just
not up for
saying.
but he's not up for the MVP.
Perez is the leader. That's what I'm saying. How far behind the
who's
leader
the leader
here?
in average? Vlad is, and then how far behind is Ohtani?
And then he's leading the league in hit, but that's bad in average.
No,
No. Yeah. So
Vlad's 315 and Ohtani, I can't even.
yeah, I mean,
yeah, Ohtani's way back.
So
Does
Vlad is having an easy MVP season, like in 9 out of the last 10 seasons, or like 7 out of the last 8,
yeah.
right?
His team's better too.
And his team is better. So I think at this point, I would pick Vlad if I had a vote, but I think Ohtani will win it. And I don't.
Here's
It
what
doesn't
I'm
bother
thinking.
me.
The war,
It doesn't bother me.
6.7 to 4.8.
Oh, that's a big deal.
6.7
Now,
to 5.
I would argue that I'm going to make the prediction right now. I'm going to make
Mm-hmm.
the argument that the writers is the writers that vote for this or the writers,
Yep,
right?
yep,
It's
baseball
like Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame, yeah.
I think they're going to struggle with Vlad and Ohtani, and they're just going to struggle and go, I can't decide, and they're going to vote for Perez, and Perez is going to win the MVP.
You're so wrong.
But you know what? I think Perez will be third. I think he'll be third in the MVP race, which is amazing.
Do you get something for third place?
Yeah, you get a third place trophy.
Do you get a bronze? Okay.
No, no, you know what you do get when you look on Baseball Reference? They go up to like 20 spaces
Yep.
of who in their MVP race,
Yeah.
and that's the thing when you look on there and you see he was in the money like 8 years in a row. Not
Right.
that Perez has been,
Yep.
but that's a thing. Yeah, that's a real
What
thing.
about National League?
I don't know. Harper.
Tatis led the league in home runs
Yeah,
as a shortstop.
I think Harper's gonna get it. Based on
When was the last
time
time a shortstop led the league in home runs?
That's happened a few times.
Who?
Ripken, probably.
No, it's not happened a bunch of times. It's maybe happened.
Alex Rodriguez.
I
don't know any of this. I'm just trying to think
Alex
of
Rodriguez
A-Rod,
is probably the only guy.
A-Rod, Ripken.
I don't think Ripken ever
Ripken
led
won
the league.
MVP.
But he
and
didn't
had
lead
like
the league
40
in home runs with McGuire and those guys. Bonds was
Look
playing
up
at his
Ripken, I'm
time.
pretty
No,
sure.
Ripken never led the league in home runs. I'm saying what
Jeter.
Tatis is doing is it's wild.
All right, A-Rod.
I like Soto too.
Soto too. Soto's having
Yeah,
a really good year.
those are the three. It's
Yep.
Harper,
Soto,
Tatis,
and
and Soto.
Yep.
I think it's going to be Harper. Which, by the way, was another guy on that list in the same list that I had Perez.
Well, we hit Vlad. We didn't really talk about Ohtani, did we? I don't remember.
No,
in
my
our
list.
Preseason.
I wasn't even talking about Tatis and stuff. I'm talking about people who were well in their career.
Yep.
And who is a buy and then forget.
Right.
Tuck them away and go look at it in 10 years. That was that conversation.
Right.
Because it's like Tatis blows his knee out, it's over. Like it's if he has 3 bad, it's too small a sample size. I can't make even Soto. Now I brought this up now 3 times prior.
Yeah.
This is more of a question between me and Evan. Long term, Tatis or Soto? Because we've always answered Soto. I'm still on Soto. Are you still on Soto?
Yeah, I think Tatis injured a lot.
All right. So Evan thinks Tatis has flipped it.
Better team, it's like,
And Soto's got the MVP, the World Series. He's got a World Series already. So,
guys.
but I think he's more talented. I just.
All my guys are just in love. Right now I have a text thread, and the texts are coming in. Luis Robert just hit another home run. They love Luis Robert.
Last I thought he was hitting 349.
Luis Robert went from hitting last year he hit like 270.
Yeah.
Since he's come back from an injury, his average this season is like 330.
How many at bats though? I don't think it's the best sample size. Again, the theme of our podcast is the sample size.
Well, and I'll tell you, okay, he's hitting 350.
And then how many at bats?
257.
Okay, 257 is half a season.
It's half a season.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah.
Not the real thing.
And he also has. I think he's got 10 homers, and he's got 10 homers in. So he's done.
Let me add something to that.
And he's got 40 ribbies. And the playoffs he's going to make a splash because they're going to be.
But let me add something to that. Before he got injured, Wander raised his batting average from like 215 to like 280.
Yeah.
And was on a 39 on base streak and whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, Luis Robert was a rookie last year.
Yep.
Wander was a rookie this year and got called up super late. I don't know why they waited so long. Wander's 3 years younger than Luis Robert.
Right.
That's a big deal.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal, but keep in mind, I think Luis Robert may be having, like, if you look back at like Trout's second year, he had a pretty good year. I think he hit like 30 homers, like 90 RBIs, and I think he batted like 320.
Right.
Like, Luis Robert is a bigger, stronger Mike Trout. Like, his swing is like Trout-esque with more power. Yeah. And he's a 5'2"
Let's
guy.
be clear about what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Robert's bad.
No,
I'm just saying that is
he's
a very interesting comparison.
But let me ask you this. Do we believe or know how old any of these guys are that are from the DR? No, like, really. Luis Robert looks like he could
47.
be even older than we think he is. You know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah, eventually Luis Robert might come to my house and said, I know you think your dad is your dad, but really I'm your dad. I'm like, whoa!
Really?
What happened?
I'm your daddy.
Like, really? I'm Dominican? That's cool.
Benchwarmers movie?
No.
When the dude has the fake ID trying to play in the Little League.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Oh, yeah, I'm 12.
It's like I'm 12, I promise.
Funny when you said Benchwarmers, there's a card product called Benchwarmers.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's it's hilarious. So Benchwarmers is kind of a big deal. Like, I can't remember, but like 12 to 15, I would just be randomly going through blowout forums, and it would just be like, anybody got Benchwarmers? Like, there was like a core group of collectors. It's like women.
It's like females.
Like
not
nice to look at ladies, and then they do like weird relic, like there's like a hair relic, like all the stuff,
like a kiss relic.
A kiss relic, yeah. It's just like,
I know.
yeah, right. So what was funny I saw a video on TikTok. They're the shop, and they just buy everything blind. They don't.
Yeah.
They don't. They're just trying to get keep the allocation high. And they're like, we got this, but they're brand new to the hobby. Like they're kind of like your guys at what's the name of their
Triple Diamond.
Triple Diamond. So they're Minnesota based business.
Just
but these guys are like. They're killing it, but they're like newbies.
They're wet behind the ears. They're green.
They're like, wait, but they're great business people, and they've grown their following. Like, I'm very jealous of their ability to grow their following. So, like, I'm not talking down to their, I didn't start collecting in 1987. Like, that's not their fault, right? Right. But so they're kind of like those guys, right? They're like, what is this? That they're, I've never seen a bench warmer card in my life, but because I troll the forums, I know what they are. And they're like, what is it? And they open it, and they're like, what in the hell? And there's like a hair relic in there, and they're like, this is crazy. And they had 3 boxes. They pull a diamond ring.
An actual.
It was like a diamond embedded. Like, we're gonna go to the jewelry store and see how much this diamond's worth. They don't know how to. Like, I have no idea how I'd market those cards. Like, but I just thought that was funny. Like, you brought it. I literally watched that video 2 days ago. I was like, that's funny. I forgot about that product.
So, in the short term, though, back to baseball, before you get
you don't want to talk about bench warming?
Luis Robert has more upside in the short term than Tatis, because Tatis is out of the playoffs, right?
Oh, short term, but no, Wander might be coming back, too.
If Wander comes back.
And the Rays are number 1 in the East.
Yep. So,
or the division, most likely division winner. I don't know if that's in play or not.
It's interesting. Milwaukee's having a good year. Not a lot of people are talking about Milwaukee. I don't know. I don't know if I like them long term.
And then
obviously the Cardinals are on a
15 game winning streak, 14,
16, 17.
17
game they just keep winning actually.
And here's the thing about the Cardinals. The Cardinals are a very weird team. If you were to say what is the best baseball town in the world, it would be St. Louis, and it's not even close. Because, like, you go, New York, you got to kind of count for population. Yeah. But St. Louis is a baseball town. It's not a football town. It's not a basketball town. They don't even have a basketball team. Yeah. They don't have a football team. So,
they don't anymore, yeah.
It's a baseball town.
Yeah.
But the collectors in St. Louis don't buy cards I don't know what that is. Like, a big guy will go to St. Louis and do well, and you go, his cards are going to pop. They don't.
Arenado's having a great year, by the way.
They don't. Yeah. Why don't they go up?
Is Arenado not, like, leading the league in RBIs or something? He's leading the league in something, I thought.
St. Louis fans and Atlanta fans are the worst collector markets for baseball.
Well, part of it is what you're hitting on. St. Louis is actually a very small town to have a professional sports team. Like, they're like
Twin stuff will spike.
Yeah,
but St. Louis is bigger than Minneapolis.
No, Minneapolis Twin Cities area is 2 million. No, St. Louis is way smaller.
No, Twin Cities area is 4. And then if you want to talk about the region, that's interesting. Let me see here.
I would guess St. Louis is a lot smaller.
Louis Metro population. Here we go. St. Louis metro population is.
Yeah, because I'm just getting.
I know it's about 4 in Twin Cities.
The proper population.
All right, so it's 2.8. It's only 75%. I guess that's fair enough. I mean, 25% left. I would have never thought that.
And not only that, one of the things that makes the Twins bigger is South Dakota, North Dakota. There's a lot of Twins fans because they don't have a pro team at all.
Iowa.
Whereas if you're in St. Louis, you're not far from 2 teams in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? You got the Kansas City Royals. You got So
but here's the thing. That is a real thing in the market. Do not look at a player like when a player goes to the Yankees, he's going to get a bump. Yep. When a player goes to the Cardinals, maybe the best baseball town in the world, but they're not going to do nothing for the cards.
Now the one caveat would be like
it ain't not going to do nothing.
The vintage guys like Stan Musial.
Yeah.
They still.
But who else is a Cardinal is highly collected?
It's Pujols and
who?
Pujols.
Yeah, Pujols might be a top 8 guy.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not St. Louis guys buying them.
But it's Musial, Pujols, and Yadier Molina are probably their most.
Yeah, Yadi might be the local market.
Oh, he is for now.
Because Yadi's not. Yadi might be a top 5 catcher all time or top 8 catcher all time, but he's not like the this crazy stat like
No.
some dude in Tennessee.
Well,
Like, I
and
love
when
Yachty.
they
So,
won the
Yachty
World
might be.
Series, when they won the World Series,
They won the World Series with them.
I don't even remember a lot of their like card like
No,
their guys.
It didn't. It didn't. It was very weird.
Which is very interesting that football is different than that, I think, because football is watched by the entire. Like I watched NFL Red Zone on Sunday. Have
yeah.
you guys ever watched Red Zone?
Yeah,
it's
it
amazing,
was
right?
free last week.
Yeah,
last week.
Red Zone's my buddy's got it too, and I love it. And there's nothing like that for baseball. There aren't people sitting around watching the highlights of all the baseball games. So like, if there's a good quarterback, it doesn't matter if he's in Kansas City.
Well, there
like Mahomes,
MLB
right?
Network does do that,
But people, I'm saying, don't.
but they don't subscribe to it the way they do.
There's not the fantasy following in baseball like there is in football, and there's not like the general, the non-sports fan
Yeah,
watches more football games than they do baseball.
and you know the reason why that is, right?
It's just more socially
It's-
popular. It's
Why is it more socially popular?
there's more alcohol. I don't know. It's there's
It's
less
not
games.
split by 6 days. It's just one day.
Right.
Like I know Monday
Yeah,
night its
yeah,
own thing,
yeah,
and Thursday
yeah.
night its own thing. It's one freaking day, and it's
Right.
all day.
And it's all
and
day,
we're
every
watching
day.
everything.
Yeah.
And if I had to do that
Yeah,
with
that's true.
baseball, it's like, oh, let's do that Tuesday. Well, how about Thursday?
There's
Well,
too
let's
many
do
games. Yeah,
Saturday.
there's 165
It's
games
every
right now.
day you could do that.
Right.
Well, so what day does everybody pick to watch
Right.
baseball?
Right.
What day does everybody pick to watch basketball?
Right.
No, it's less than baseball. It's 4 days a week. Well, no, it's every day of the week. There's going to be 6 games on.
There's going to be a game every day of the week. In
No,
basketball.
baseball, at least every team will play in a day for most part.
Right.
Basketball, that doesn't happen. So that's why. I mean, it's just like Sunday. This is what we're doing.
Yep.
And
Well, and so that speaks to why the football market, like it's funny because there'll be like some obscure player who, like McCaffrey goes down and what's his name? Who's the backup? Chuba Hubbard or whatever.
Oh yeah, the rookie.
Like all of a sudden now everyone's everyone's picking him up on their fantasy team.
Yeah.
And simultaneously buying
Going
his
down
cards.
eBay.
Right. And so like there's
Hubbard's
this
actually
crossover.
a pretty highly touted running back too. So
And he might be great. And it's funny, though, because, like, you don't see that kind of movement on baseball because, like you said, there's so many more games. People are out more.
Yeah.
They're not even aware. Like, I'll be honest. You could walk down the street and you could ask someone, who's Luis Robert? Like,
No.
they're not going to have any freaking
Yeah,
clue.
but if-
you can ask them who Matthew Stafford is because we played against
I
him
don't
every
think
year.
so.
They're going
I
to
don't
know
think
Matthew
so.
Stafford way
the
before
average
Luis Robert.
person.
Yes.
Oh yeah, more than baseball, but not at a
But I'm
very
saying you
high.
take two players that we play against in both sports.
Yeah,
The
it'll be higher.
NFL following's higher.
It'll be higher, yeah.
Which
But
I don't know how that all.
But I'm going to tell you something.
Cards.
Your average person on the street don't know any of this stuff.
No, right.
they know
Yeah.
like a few players from their team, a couple, and Tom Brady, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Your average person. I'll just say when I'm like, oh yeah, this 18th ranked prospect on the Padres, like I know that guy. Like I'm a very few number of people.
Well, and I'll say this: as we get into October,
yeah,
more people are going to watch. I'm going to watch more baseball
yeah,
in October than I watched all year.
absolutely,
Right. So that actually has a huge impact on the value of cards.
Yeah,
Soto's had a better
many more
year.
eyes.
Tatis has had a better year. But if Robert hits 5 home runs
Yeah.
and they go to the World Series, like that's what made Kirby Puckett, right? It wasn't his regular season
Game six.
performances only. It was Game 6. It was
Game six.
it was the catch. It was the walk off. All that. So like players are going to be made in this postseason in baseball more so than they were in the regular season. So it's
all
going
right.
to be fun
So
to watch.
let's do a quick look here. On the Rays, Wander. Who else is on the Rays that could take a real jump? That's kind of a younger guy.
Brandon Lau or Razor.
Rosarina. Well, yeah, Rosarina does it again. He hasn't done anything all year, but
right. Yeah.
Rosarina's not a very good prospect. That's the problem with him.
Yeah.
They don't really have. I mean,
Yeah.
they're all pitching.
Yankees, obviously Rizzo could get a big bounce back. He's an older player. Is there any young guy on the Yankees that could get
I mean,
real...
Gleyber Torres and those guys are like Gleyber Torres could become.
Oh, Gleyber
He
could
could
become
have a breakout.
He could be a playoff hero.
What
Absolutely.
all the Yankees that are iconic have been iconic because of the playoffs.
And then are the Red Sox going to get in because the second place is not?
No.
Yeah, Red
Currently,
Sox will get in.
they might.
But they're a game up. They're a game up on the Mariners.
They're
So
a game.
Red Sox
Up.
got some interesting guys. Verdugo, Schwarber, Devers is a big one.
Yep.
And so those first two guys are older guys, but they're not worth very much.
Yep.
And Devers is like the young guy.
And what
that
sells
can really-
cards is going to be if there's a walk-off home run.
White Sox, Eloy
Yes,
Eloy
Eloy is
and
very
Lewis
good.
Robert.
Yep.
Makata, too.
Makata.
I mean, even
I always
Jose
forget about him.
Abreu. I mean, they got some like.
Abreu is like literally 90 years old. Like it's
yeah,
crazy.
but hey,
I drafted him 5 years in a row, and I was like, oh man, another 5 years. I'm like, oh, another 5 years, I'll be 50.
but let's talk about something for a second. I'm not talking about long term. I'm talking about short term. It doesn't matter if a guy's 20 or 30
it
or
does.
35.
It does, though.
If he
In terms of how much.
if he wins a World Series, if he is the best, if he's the World Series MVP, he's going to have a massive uptick short term.
Relative to his potential, though. Alan Craig, who is the Cardinal guy? You're too young. Oh, who am I thinking of?
What?
The Cardinal guy in the World Series hit those 2 home runs. David Freese. David Freese was already 28 years old.
Yeah, but
he got a bump,
but
but he
David-
didn't get like.
David Murphy that year that the Mets made a run, his stuff was selling crazy hot for like a month even after the
David
playoffs.
Murphy was like in the 3rd year in the league.
No, he was like 27 at the
Really?
time.
I'd have
he
to
was
look
old.
that
He
up.
was old.
All right, Astros. No, can the Astros like? What about Jordan? He wasn't part of the cheaters.
Jordan's
What about
great.
Jordan's Reagan?
No, he doesn't sell.
Well, that's the point.
There's such a dislike.
That's the point.
100%.
So
No,
maybe
no.
Jordan. All right, so then go to National League.
Atlanta.
Atlanta. Freddie could keep solidifying.
Albies. I mean,
Albies had a great year.
Albies is good. Albies is very good.
Harper, not going to be in the playoffs, so he might win MVP. But then it's like he kind of has to win MVP.
Giants guys, Posey, Longoria.
Posey's having his like second best year ever.
So that might
Which is
be.
interesting because Joey Barge is the big prospect who's not getting any
and
action.
Posey's looking like he's heading to Hall of Fame as well.
Yeah.
So that could be a very safe kind of. I don't know where the prices are, so it's hard for me to take a position on like, oh, he might be a good.
What
guy.
about Milwaukee? Does Christian Yelich have a
Yelich has had a horrible
bounce
year.
back playoff?
But here's the thing: he's had such a bad. Look, this is a good thing. Yelich has an MVP.
Yep.
He's had a good career. Had a horrible year this year. I haven't looked at his prices.
Yep.
And last year, I haven't looked at his prices.
They're way down.
They
Way
got to
down.
be like nothing, right?
Right.
You could. It wouldn't be a worst idea to go on eBay and find some number 25 auto rookie for whatever.
Or an update PSA 10.
Yeah, whatever, right? And it's like $60.
Update PSA 10s. Update PSA 10s were like $400 or $500. They're down to like $100.
Yeah, so you go $100 flyer.
Yep.
What if he does a pocket where he game 6 home? Dude, you're gonna be back up to $500. And here's the thing:
Right.
there's no real reason why this isn't just a 2-year blip and then he just finishes out his career really good. He's not a risky buy by any means.
Who else on the Brewers has even potential to be a star?
There's that. He's a little old.
Do they even have any other All-Stars?
I was thinking
Who
of
are
that
their other
Wong.
All-Stars?
I think of Wong, but he's a little old.
I mean,
He's
Lorenzo
too old.
Cain's in the outfield, right? I mean,
Yeah,
kind
he's
of
too old.
But he's old. I mean, but I'm saying in the short term.
Yeah, but that's everybody though.
Yeah.
Then we'd have to say every man.
no.
on the 25 roster.
I'm saying who do you think could be the big
right.
star of their series?
And then, of course, we got the West. We talked about Posey. Dodgers, there's 10 dudes.
Dodgers, Seager,
Trey Turner.
Turner. I mean,
There's a bunch of-
Mookie Betts.
There's a bunch of
those
Mookie
guys.
Betts.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of
Kevin
pitchers.
Love.
There's a bunch of pitchers that could just blow up.
Yeah.
Like they have 3 of their starters.
I'll
and,
be honest. As much as the
3 of them
Giants have had a really good year, I just feel like
No,
the
yeah.
Dodgers are so much more dangerous in the playoffs.
Well, not only that,
their
the Dodgers
rotation.
are finishing.
Yeah, they're finishing stronger.
But no, I'm telling you. But I wanted to finish that.
Yeah.
There's 3 arms in the Dodgers bullpen
Yeah,
that something could happen,
Right.
and have the card mark go what?
yeah.
Gradwell being one of
Well,
them.
I'll say
Rodriguez,
this much:
I
Clayton
think- I
Kershaw.
don't know.
Hey, if the Dodgers win again, Clayton Kershaw, and if he pitches okay,
Yeah.
that solidifies him.
Maybe
Like
the best
it gets
pitcher
the
of a
monkey. Well,
generation.
it gets the monkey off his back of like the playoff thing. Okay, he got one. Now he gets a second one.
Yeah, that
and
one
he-
is sort
you
of
know,
like,
It's like a
both
quarterback.
times.
He gets one, but it's like, was that just a fluke
Right.
or
No, I didn't even think about Kershaw, but yeah, Kershaw could really be just a long-term.
And obviously Walker Buehler's good, and they got some good
Yeah,
young guys.
Oh yeah,
too,
I
obviously,
mean
but-
it's just nuts. So
so you have your lower risk guys like Kershaw, then you have your higher risk but higher upside like Gavin Lux, right? You
yeah.
have a guy-
Luck could.
Yeah.
Lux is nothing.
Yeah.
You can
Like $30.
for what?
Chrome.
PSA 10 Chrome is 30.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I saw tops for $10.
He's batting 400 this last month.
I think really, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah,
I have
so
not noticed that really. I love Gavin Lux. I love Gavin Lux from a talent.
And it was
standpoint.
funny because he was hyped, and then he got sent down, and that's the buy time, right? That was the and
He's
early
been buying
struggle
the
means
whole time,
nothing, right?
And here's the thing: even if he's done that for last month, I don't think anybody's noticed. I haven't noticed. I bet his prices.
And I'm excited because this is a fun time because you'll have playoff baseball. You'll have the NFL going, and then the NBA is going to start. And so you're going to have an overlap of, like, for cards, it's a lot. So you almost need to, like, take
And there's some people that
direction,
only collect one sport.
Yep.
So you don't see them while that sport's not in play.
Not in
and then all of a
play,
sudden they come in the shop.
They come
like,
back in the
basketball season's started. I'm like, oh, okay, here's your bag.
And that's what we've seen in football.
All right, so let's get into our last thing because how deep are we?
125.
125. All right,
Yeah.
so I don't think we got to go too far.
No.
So we taped 2 podcasts, kind of a 2-parter about the National.
Yes.
So we got back, taped one, then we had to go to Dell's, taped another. We have someone that we think can make our videos better.
Yep.
And we got some plans on kind of making the whole channel better. But then, I get back from Dell's and it's like, the store is a mess. Like, just literally a mess.
You think it's going to come in and it's going to be fire and it's going to be burning? It's just a few holes in the
Yeah.
wall,
No,
but
and we talked about that, right? But then it's not anything big. It's just, okay, I've been prepping for the National, Des Moines, Dell's. I've been ignoring other work.
Right.
Because that's piled up. And then the story's a mess. So I'm getting that back. And I'm kind of not paying attention to the new guy publishing it. And then there's a Friday, and Max comes in at like 1, and right after he comes in, I start coughing. And I'm like, damn it, Max, you got me sick. Because Max, the rule is, when Max is in the store, anything that goes wrong is his fault. That's part of what I pay him for.
I would love to work for you. That'd be so much
it's
fun.
Part of,
like so
it's
much
part
fun.
of what I pay him for.
Is this good leadership
like,
skills?
Literally, like, if a pen falls off the counter, I'm like, Max, what are you... Come on, man. Like, now I got to go pick this pen up, Like, it's great.
Oh.
And here's why Max is awesome. He's like, sorry. He's like, that's awesome.
He actually
He's like, sorry,
apologizes
I told him
to you.
that when I hired him. I said, you're going to take the blame for everything, no matter what
Wow.
it is. And so he'll be like, I'm like, this is your fault. He goes, I know, I apologize. Like, that'll be his. It's awesome.
I know.
So I started coughing. I'm just like, God, Max, you got me sick. Because I literally start coughing. But by the time I leave Friday, I'm like, I can't open the store tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
And I sleep all day Saturday, and then by the end of Saturday, I post on Facebook. I'm like, I'm closing for one more day. I sleep all day. It's not because the way I treat colds is I sleep. I just sleep, and then if I'm not sleepy, I try to sleep as much as I can. I have this thing like sleeping is better than medicine.
Sure.
I feel kind of okay Monday, and then on Tuesday, you're like, or the text message, you're like, oh, I got COVID. And I'm like, it's the middle of day Tuesday. I'm like, crap. I bet, because in the Dells, the room we had was not big enough for me and my wife and the baby. Yep. The baby was not going to sleep on the floor.
Right.
And so I'm like, and it kind of worked out whether it was an extra bed. And I'm like, hey, dude, I'm just going to crash with you because like this is not going to be comfortable. The baby's going to kick me in the head. And like, right. And so I was breathing your juice in all night long. Whatever. I don't know. Well, I mean, you're right next to me breathing your gross air in the, And so you most likely got me sick. All right. So part of the delay is chill out, it's a joke. Part of the delay is I've been out 2.5 weeks just
with the vid.
You kind of recovered a lot quicker. Like, were you out for like a week maybe?
It was a week, and then someone gave me some ivermectin, and I took
someone or a doctor?
No, a friend of mine who's
really
yeah.
Oh my God, I can't believe you did that.
Her sister was almost dead in the hospital. The doctors could do nothing for her. They snuck ivermectin in. She was 30%, she was like 40% oxygen, like some crazy low number oxygen. Her heartbeats per minute was like 25. She was going to be dead.
I don't know what any of these numbers.
They gave her, they treated her. Within 3 days, she was going home, 100% symptom free. They asked her what happened. They told the doctor, and he's like, "I'm really glad that someone did that for you because like they're limited." I'm not gonna make this about that.
Refusing to give it to her, or they just thought it wasn't the best course.
No, they just don't. They don't treat anybody with it. It's a huge I'm not going to get into the whole thing on it, but right now it's proven to help. She found out I had it bad. She's like, I just feel for people because, like, I know how helpful this is. Like, I was miserable. Nothing got better for a whole week. She brought it over. I took a dose in the morning. By the next morning when I took it, I was almost 100%.
Wow.
So
here's my problem. You know that
you trust doctors too much. I know.
I don't. Oh no, I don't.
You do.
Oh my God,
because you're like, oh no, they didn't give it to me.
Oh my God, I don't. I went to the emergency room 5 times. They told me I had heartburn and I had gallstones, which gave me pancreatitis. I don't trust doctors for nothing. But you know that thing. But I don't take any drugs that I'm not prescribed. I am ridiculously fearful of just taking like stuff that people give me.
What?
And so, like, you know that thing when you're sitting
They
there?
do prescribe it, but doctors right now prescribing it get in trouble.
Okay,
that's
but
how
I don't want to get prescribed it by like Phil that lives next door. That's not what I'm saying. And so what happens? You know how that thing when you're sitting there and someone's got like, I don't know, some painkiller, and then someone goes, "Oh, can I get one of those?" Like, oh my God, I would never do that. Even if my back was killing me. Like, what is
okay,
this drug gonna do to me?
you're weird as can be. Okay. Anyway,
No, I don't trust it.
Well, I mean, I'm glad you
just-
got to spend 2 extra weeks.
2 extra weeks. So you're saying COVID would have lasted 3 days if I would have took Bob's.
Ivermectin won a actual Nobel Peace Prize for the effects of it. You don't. know
Wait,
what
are
you're
you
talking about.
arguing that I'm saying
No,
that
you're-
I don't think it works?
No, you're arguing like, I don't know what you're arguing.
I'm
You're-
arguing that I don't take drugs or medication unless it's prescribed by a doctor because I don't take drugs. I don't take anything. If it's not over the counter, I'm not gonna take it.
Okay.
So the way it worked with me was I went to urgent care. Why are you looking so? I know we don't videotape this. What are you giving that face for? You're just like
You would rather be
you're just
sick
Clint,
and
good
not
time
give it a-
guy. I'll
because,
take
hey,
whatever you give me.
No, because you don't trust the testimony of people that are close to you in your life that like have experienced the results and the effects of. Let's say someone came and said, "Hey, I had the cold and I took a bunch of vitamin C and it's really helped." And five people around
Vitamin
you.
C is not a prescribed medication.
Ivermectin is not prescribed. I bought it at Fleet Farm.
Was it for human consumption?
Not the stuff I bought.
Okay. Now you've solidified.
Dude,
Oh my God! Really?
It's the same thing.
You
dude.
did
It's-
not.
Yes, of
Oh,
course
don't
I
do
did.
that stuff. Like, I know it worked this time, but don't do that stuff. That's not good.
John, you're wrong. Actually, you're wrong. Do you want me to show you this? The Nash.
no.
You want me to show you the global study on ivermectin and the effects of it? It's the
Oh,
same
I-
thing.
I-
I got ivermectin.
Again, I'm not arguing for or against this medication. That's not.
I can show you plenty of studies by
but I am
plenty of
saying,
doctors
I am
that
saying
were
Fleet Farm might for. What was it for?
horses.
Oh my God! You did not.
Yes.
Oh, that would scare the crap out of me.
It literally was like night and day. I was good.
No, I'm happy at work, but that scares the like.
Didn't scare me
when
at all.
my wife was going out.
It's a dewormer. It's fine.
When my wife was going out to California,
Yeah.
with a baby,
Yeah.
or she did. She said that they were going on a hot air balloon ride. I almost had a panic attack.
Yeah,
that the baby was
you
gonna
deal
be
with
in
a lot
that
of fear. I
stupid
get it.
basket.
No,
Like,
that's
that's
fine.
not-
I don't deal with.
But
that.
I have friends who
gonna
are just
harm
like,
me.
hey, can I have that pill? Bloop. Like I'm like, how do you do that? So my only thing was it wasn't bad. I slept a lot, but I was never rested, and I had to go to urgent care because my ribs hurt so much. So my ribs are just killing me from the coughing.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, they go, well, you got your COVID positive. I'm like, yeah. And they're like, what are your symptoms? I'm like, it doesn't matter. My ribs hurt.
Right.
Like, I need something for my ribs, so they gave me some opiates, and it killed the pain right away, and it had a cough suppressant in it, too. I don't think really worked all that great. And I got a little bit of cough. I'll probably have one for a couple more weeks, because my body likes to cough, I guess. And, we're back. My post yesterday was my first day. On Monday, I go, it's my triumphant return. That's how I've been describing it.
Nice.
I made my triumphant return. All right, I think that was a good podcast.
We're back on the saddle.
We're back, and then I'm
hit
hoping
that
that we
subscribe
can
button.
get some different, like some
Yeah.
more predictable postings for the podcast going forward.
Awesome. Have a good one, guys.